There's rarely a game where it feels like the gameplay loop is perfect. Many games attempt to make their game as good as possible and try to offer new experiences each time you play. Others are story-based games, with that being its limiting factor. In this video, I will be talking about what I feel is the closest thing to perfect gameplay and, by extension, the addictiveness inside of what's possible in a game. White Knuckle is a first-person roguelike speed climbing game with horror elements. Although the game in and of itself is not that scary, the environments and unique experiences do offer some creepiness to the game. You start off as an unidentified individual, and you stay that way, as stated by the occasional announcements played over the speakers. You're set to escape the substructure 17, in which the game takes place. Starting off in the silos, progressing from there all the way up to habitation, where the game currently ends. As the game is in early access, it does not fully complete it as of yet, but that certainly isn't holding the game back. This premise drives the game forward, and the players goes up the substructure with different challenges in each room. The controls are fairly straightforward and simple to learn, with each grabbing function being either left click to use your left hand or right click to use your right. What makes the game so replayable is the desire to become more efficient at the game. Slowly, after a few hours of playing, the player picks up new strategies and senses of jumping capabilities. What was previously a huge wall to climb simply becomes 3 to 4 sections of just climbing, because you acknowledge that some things are skippable or just directly faster to climb up through, say, like a gap, or like, say there's like 5 of those climb things, you can skip from 1 to like the 5th one immediately. Another system that makes it go faster is the items that the player picks up during their journey, which makes the game easier and opens up new opportunities. They're just setting up batons in the wall that skips a long parkour process, or like you could use rebar to jump in places that you weren't supposed to. That's how you access a lot of secret. And there's also items like an eyeball that lets you teleport, or like a snack bar that not only refills your stuff like the can item does, which refills your stamina, but the snack bar also has the added bonus of allowing you to jump higher. That just makes the game go by way quicker. What makes the game take forever is what's called the mass. And this mass is a creature that slowly fills the room. Basically, it's like rising lava. This rising lava, you don't instantly die when you touch it, but it will slowly consume you, so you better make it quick to get out of there. This is the end all be all. This is like the enemy that you have to escape. That's the whole reason why you have to climb up. The mass's default speed when you're starting is 0.3 meters a second, and increases based on how far the player is from it. It increases the higher you go, with the cap being 2 meters a second while under 5,000 meters, which is a bit complicated. But what that essentially means is that while you're playing the campaign, it will only ever cap out at 2 meters a second. It can't surpass that. But then as soon as it passes after 5,000 meters, between 5,000 and 10,000, it'll increase to, I believe, 8 meters a second. And then after you pass 10,000, it caps out at 16 meters a second, which is insanely fast. There's an introduction of perks to the player inside of break rooms. Inside of them, there are computer systems that allow the player to select perks. Some of them cost money. I believe it's the third option on every one. And the third option is an experimental perk that gives you way better benefits than the other two, but the other two are free. The other two can consist of like 30% more climbing speed, like can carry 3 more items, and these are stackable. Then the experimental perks are like, you can reach out 50% farther, you get a double jump, you get a triple jump, That's the experimental perk that normally costs roaches, which is the in-game currency that you find while you're climbing. Now, this system helps out the player because, say, you wanted to get out of there, get out a quick jiffy. You can get out very quickly in a reasonable time manner based on what you have. So if you have a double jump and the mass is right below you, you know that you can probably bridge a gap that isn't normally bridgeable. There are other creatures that also fill these rooms, like barnacles and blood bugs, which in of respect are horrible, annoying creatures. The barnacles stick out a big tentacle proboscis thingy that goes across each room, kind of acts like a laser, and essentially what it does is you can climb onto it and it won't attack you. I'll pull up a picture so you can see what I mean. There will be like a big line and you can climb on it, acting kind of like rebar. But as soon as any part of your body touches it or your character goes through it, it'll like wrap around you, is what I imagine, and it'll pull you into itself, and you gotta hammer it, the the line to get rid of it. Really different beast because the blood bugs, as soon as you awaken them, God forbid, they will chase you down and fly around and won't leave you alone. They'll constantly harass you and you have to kill them. If you don't kill them, I believe there's a way that you can escape from them, but you gotta be faster than them. And it's really hard to be faster or at least be outwit them. I believe you can outrun them in an event. More on that later, but that's essentially it. Blood bugs knock you down. They do quite a lot of damage, but not enough to justify you losing your game. So there's an additional few creatures besides these ones, like the teeth, which is the teeth is the creature, and it's the primary enemy inside of the service shaft, the only one in campaign. But there's also the mass that rises inside of endless mode, is kind of horrifying. Not really. He chases you down, but it's very easy to kind of outrun him. But primarily, you'd want to use the flare gun that the game gives you to attack it if all else fails. But typically, what I do, and you'll see it in the gameplay, is I will just climb up and keep climbing and keep climbing. And you should be able to technically like escape where it will attack you from. Now, there's also another enemy called the turrets, and these fill out the Delta Labs, which is the last-ish area of the game, where you have to climb through vents, and there's also an area where there's like moving panels on a rotating shaft. I don't know how to describe it. Pull up that in the video as well. This rotating shaft, there's a ton of turrets on each, like I want to say, level that attack. And on hard mode, these turrets also fill out the silos. Now, going to hard mode, it's not necessarily the hardest in all terms. I guess you take more damage, but there are more creatures. The true threat is that the mass is essentially twice the speed, which is like insane when you're getting to like the Pipeworks level, or like Silo's pretty bad, but Pipeworks is where it really gets bad. Yeah, because it's very tight spaces. And then also in endless mode, the service shaft is a horrid area, or hard mode, because of that reason. Another game mode is Iron Knuckle. That's the other one primarily, in which the game pretty much turns into its demo if you played it, which is there's no saves and there's no perks. This is way harder than hard mode itself, even though I went on a whole tangent about how hard the mass is when it's twice the speed, but Iron Knuckle, you don't get any saves, and especially if you're a beginner, that's not typically what you want to go for. Then also, it disables perks, which dramatically reduces your capability as well, in like habitation, for example, where there's a ton of gaps that you need to cross, and there's a lot of like prolonged climbing that you need to do, but you just don't have the perk for it. So you have to rely a lot more on your item. The game also features a unique collection of secrets, going from little subsections in some rooms to dedicated spaces. Things like the mother room and detours from vents. I don't have a specific video of it, but I could probably pull up a picture. As you can see, the mother room is quite interesting in the fact that there's just nice artwork throughout the game that consists of like this, or what I mean by detours from vents is like, say you're in silos, or like, well, the silos, there will be like a vent that is abnormal, and then you'll go into it and there'll be like essentially a cache for items like pills and adrenaline. The best secret in the game, in my opinion, is the ladder, which is an entire game in of itself, I would argue, as it stems from the Delta Labs which is a part of habitation. And basically what it is it's a ladder that goes up 2,000 plus meters. This is a horrid experience to get up. I haven't done it yet. I could probably pull up a video of somebody doing it. Another great aspect to the game is the leaderboards built into it. The leaderboards built into it is like a rank next to the left of your name. It essentially tells you like how good you are based on other people experience. So like for example, you could be like 400 and like 19 in the best of like endless or something like that. This makes a good different style of game for those that wish to be the best at like at what they want to do. So like if you're insanely good at habitation, you probably want to get a high leaderboard rank on there. It's all up to the player. All in all, the game is magnificent, and I definitely recommend you at least get the demo if you're even like the slightest bit interested. I personally did not like the first 30 minutes of playing due to the slow movement, because albeit now looking back on it, it's one of the best games I've ever played that features movement. A lot of like swinging and like monkey action. It's insanely good for that. I don't typically like parkour games, but this is definitely like breaking the barrier for what is a good parkour game. This game has some of the best gameplay I've ever seen. It has an insanely good gameplay loop. I definitely recommend everybody try out. If you do play the demo, I strongly ask of you to buy the game. Even if you don't enjoy it, it would be momentous if you bought the game, just because it's an insanely good game, and the devs definitely are doing something huge here for what the game is. Anyways, that wraps out the video. Sorry for the yearly break. I will try to make more videos this summer, the rest of this. I don't know about the rest of the year, but anyways, it's been your boy, Earth's Harbor, and I will catch you guys in the next video.